Good afternoon. Welcome to the market close. Boy, what a day. Um, we got a green day. So we've got the green light up behind us. Oh boy. Yeah, the market's looking pretty interesting. Yeah, I've got really nothing to complain about for today. Let's actually jump right in. Let's take a look. We'll get in here right away. Let's bring it up here. So as you can see, we're up 1.37%. That's pretty darn good. And if you'll notice, we've gotten ourselves well above the blue line. Now, I still think, and maybe I'm going to be wrong, and I don't mind if I'm wrong, but I still think that we're going to trace down below that blue line before the end of the month. But for now, and now we're getting a reprieve. We're getting a nice solid green day. This is this is one of these weeks where we got no real negative catalyst going on. We got a potential government deal in the US where the government shutdown is going to come to an end. So that's looking like it's going to go ahead, although it's only temporary. It's a temporary reprieve, I believe, until I think it's the end of January. So we'll have to see where that goes later. That could be a 2026 drama. But the markets have been responding pretty darn well. We're seeing a lot of green, especially up here in Canada. The TSX, not quite as enthusiastic as us Canadians are. It's only a little bit above the blue line. It's only a little bit to the green today as well, 0.12%. Now the NASDAQ, another story altogether. They're still in the red. They kind of moving mostly flat today, mostly flat, mostly sideways. We're not seeing a lot. They are to the red on the day, 0.11 to the negative. The Dow Jones having a pretty good day, up 0.83%. And the little caps, they're having a slightly green day. They're only up about 0.08%, and they are still below that blue line. So they're still in red territory in November. So what can I say? Gold, oh boy, guys, gold having a good day today. So you gotta like that. You gotta like that. So yeah, gold's having a good day, and that is part of the reason when you look at the TSX and you see how well the TSX is doing. Let's go back. Let's go back right here. A lot of that is being helped out by gold for sure. Also, look at this. Silver's up as well, 4.43%. Copper's up 0.56%. Well, it's coming back down, but it's still up. It's still up. Oil today not doing so great. WTI down a full almost 4%, 3.92%. Bitcoin is down, and Ethereum is kind of flat. Ethereum flat, Bitcoin down. Bitcoin is currently down 1.32%. All right, let's get to our heat maps and see if there's any stories developing in the in the charts. So as you can see here, this is the Canada one. Not a lot of excitement here. Not a lot of excitement. These are actually green. It's a very light green. So I'm not sure if you can see them or not. But you know what? Actually, let's move me. We'll put me over here. Let's move me over here so that I am a little more out of the way. Now, hopefully, there we go. All right. I had to check on the test screen to make sure that worked. So the banks all looking pretty good. TD up a full 1.4, Royal Bank up 0.75, CIBC up 1.47. So that's not too shabby. Scotiabank also up a full 1.1. Here's one of the bigger stories of the day. Look at this. You guys know one of my favorites, London Gold. Look at that. They're up 4.81%. Pretty much a brand new all-time high for London Gold. So no doubt they're looking pretty good in the portfolio today in the 0 to 100K challenge. not a lot of red. We got a little bit over here with Rogers, Telus, and Bell all kind of reacting in the red. Now, I did see an interesting commentary over on BNN today. There's some people thinking that things are really going to be looking up in 2026 for the telecoms, especially for Rogers, actually, as Rogers has got to a point where their cash flow has been considerably improving. We'll see if this happens. I have been kind of predicting that I think the worst is over for the telecom. So maybe we'll see that. Yeah, let's take a look at the United States. A lot more red. Tech, as you can see, still kind of hurting. Look at this. Google's down 1.58, Meta 2.79, Tesla 1.80, Apple down 0.6. A couple of a couple of bright spots. There we go. AMD, look at this, up quite a bit, 8.74% on the AMD. So that's not too shabby. If only NVIDIA could follow. NVIDIA is kind of flat today. They're down 0.26%. But we've seen a little bit over here in health. We are seeing some movement up in the health. Eli Lilly up 2.96. AbbVie 3.76. So that's not too shabby. Over in crypto, oh boy. So predominantly red day. So you can see Bitcoin down, Ethereum, it's showing them as down, but they're closer to flat. XRP down a full couple of percent, Solana down, Dogecoin down. A lot of coins are down. And well, guys, it's tradition around here to go in and take a look at one of these smaller coins. There's more than 15,000 of the altcoins out there. I like to just grab a coin I've never heard of and make fun of it. Basically, yeah, that's exactly what it is. As childish as it sounds, that's exactly what it is. I'm going to grab a green one because let's grab one I've never heard of before. Here we go. Nabox. What the hell is a Nabox? I have no idea. This coin, it is doing a little bit better today. Now, oh boy. Guys, look at the price. It's in exponential form. It's so small, they have to use a power of 5 exponents, well, -5 to get there. Yeah, it's worth next to nothing. And it's also worth next to nothing. That works in both directions. So I don't know what this does. It's not something that I would be interested in ever. You got to be careful with these old coins. I call them crap coins because a lot of times it is like going to the casino and playing craps. The odds are not in your favor. The house always tends to win. So in this case, you're not the house. I would be careful if you want to dabble in altcoins. Make sure you're reading the white papers. Make sure you're doing your due diligence big time, and make sure you're willing to lose that money. That's kind of where it stands. Now, there is money to be made in crypto, but guys, stick to the big coins. Stick to your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your XRP, your Solana, and gosh darn it, even the Dogecoin is a better option. All right, holy banana bread, guys, let's zip back to the normal view here and let's hit the chat. We have about 7 minutes until the bell, so we'll get lots of time. Jonathan in first. Am I late for a cheap US avocado? No, you're not. So yeah, the title today of the show, there was a report today that came out from Loblaw. Loblaw has said that a lot of their customers who had been buying Canadian are now not buying Canadian because those counter tariffs being dropped, a lot of the American competitors, the prices have come down and are now cheaper than some of the Canadian options. And well, some buyers, some shoppers are out there just saying, okay, well, hey, we just need to save money. And I understand that. Money's tight. Money's tight for a lot of families. And quite literally, if buying Canadian means your family's going to be hungry, well, I can see that. I can see that. So, just kind of curious what you guys think about that. Are you still buying Canadian or are you buying American? I mean, who knows? All right. We got Stan in the house with a hello all, and we got Cowboy in the house. All right. Claude's in. Hello, London Gold on fire again. Yes, absolutely. And we just looked at that. So yeah, big time. Brian is in the house with a good afternoon, everyone. And Paul says more red. But that's because Paul, a lot of Paul's investments are in US tech, and US tech is a little bit in the red for sure. Cowboy, HBTE is still dropping. As long as the dividend stays the same, I think it'll be okay. Yeah, I would agree. And that's the thing with this right now. The amazing growth that we've seen on HBTE is unprecedented. I know last month it was at 110% in my 0 to 100K challenge. Now, I was looking. We were talking to somebody. What was it? It could have been on the weekend. Yeah, actually, it was. I think on JJ popped in. I was talking to him about my adjusted cost base on that is like I think it was it $13.11. It was pretty low. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried about that at all. And keep in mind that volatility within Bitcoin, that's why they can offer such a large dividend. So that is helping us for sure. Paul said, is the US government going back to work? It's not official yet. It's probably going to take about a week for all of this to happen. But right now, I'm pretty sure the only thing that has to happen is I think Trump has to sign it, and it's going back. I mean, this is when you look at the Republicans and the Democrats, this is a victory for the Republicans because the Democrats didn't get what they were demanding. They wanted some concessions, some healthcare concessions, and they didn't get those. So definitely a victory for the Republicans. So I can't see this not going through. And here's the thing. I know some people have been giving the Democrats some grief saying, oh my God, you backed down. You backed down. Why? You know what? They've got a reprieve until January. And what's happening between now and January? What's the holidays? Let's have people get paid so that their families can have a good Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever, or Festivus. I think that's the Seinfeld one, Festivus, but let's do it. Ian is in the house with a hola. Hello. I was gonna say hola back at ya. There we go. Let's see. Paul, same at HBTE, blocks dropping with crypto miners, crypto companies. Yeah, absolutely. Brian, the red seems to hit and miss. My TFSA is up, but all Canadian stocks, RRSP is down 0.5% with US stocks and ETFs like Palantir, etc. Yeah, like I think right now, today, you're going to see more of a drag on your US stocks than your Canadian ones. And we got Scratch in the house with a good afternoon, everyone. All right. Paul says blocks 3 of 17 holdings are green today. Only 3. Yikes. Roku is in the house with a good afternoon, fellow traders. I like that. Gosh, I should have almost made that the catchphrase of the channel. Like, start every video off with good afternoon, fellow traders. Yeah, I like that. That's a good one. Cowboy up on the TFSA, non-registered is down, and we got a way to go from Scratch. And let's see, Brian, TFSA up for me 0.23, RRSP down 0.61. Jim says all the banks did good today. Yes, absolutely. And as you guys know, the latest video, I dropped a bit of a preview on 60. So that I'm anticipating. Now, one of the questions I've been getting in the comments is, when is 60 coming out? Right now, we don't have a date. But I've noticed lately that a lot of these prospectuses come out, get filed, and it's not taking long for them to go live after that. So I would not be surprised to see it by the end of this month. And if not the end of this month, I definitely, I'd be shocked. I would be shocked if we don't see it before the end of the year, but I think we're probably going to see it towards the end of November, I think. And guys, this is speculation, so take it with a grain of salt. Maybe I'll try to sneak that in. Oh, by the way, as I mentioned, I've been trying to get a interview with the Evolve CEO. That's going to happen. That's going to happen on Thursday. So Thursday, I will actually film an interview with him, and then it has to go through editing. And I don't know if it has to go through any compliance stuff on their end, but that'll be coming soon. That'll be coming soon. Brian says, I'm probably 50% US holdings in my RRSP. Ooh, Brian, this is a great segue. Oops, I'm just taking a look. I got 5 seconds to the bell. Guys, I'm on time. And there we go. The market's closed. I really was about to go off on a tangent too, so I could have been a few minutes late. But yeah, so as you guys know, I've been talking about this for a while. I keep getting requests with a lot of the ETF videos that I've done recently. I keep getting requests for a US version. It's like, do a US one. Now, maybe it's just the US viewers who are making the request. I don't know. But I heard, I listened, and Friday we are dropping 5 stable, so that's to me is important, dividend growth ETFs, US ones. So not dividend growth, they're all income, growth income ETF. So basically high dividends, moderate to high growth. So those are gonna be great, but those would be perfect for the RRSP. They're really good funds. And of course, for the Americans watching, they are really good for that Roth IRA. So just something to keep in mind. That's coming out on Friday. I'm excited. I'll be filming it and getting it edited in the morning. Channel members, you'll be able to watch it by tomorrow afternoon. Nice. Oh, another thing too. So Adriano has that, what is it? The Passive Income Pioneers. He did that one thing where he had about 6 people, I think. I think it was 6 in total. Anyway, the next one of those is happening very soon. I have an invite for it next Thursday. So because of that, though, guys, and I haven't changed this on the schedule. Like next Thursday, I believe I was going to do the channel member live stream. So we're doing it this Thursday. Surprise! We're moving it up to tomorrow. Now, there's not enough time for me to get questions from you guys, so it's going to be a Q&A. I'm just going to come in. We're going to talk about whatever you guys want to, but that's going to happen tomorrow night. We'll have that channel member one tomorrow night. It'll be over a little bit earlier this month than normal, but you know, what can I do? What can I do? The schedule got tight. Rory says, afternoon, are people ditching falling Bitcoin and going back to equities? Well, I can't say nobody is. There's probably some. Bitcoin, yeah, Bitcoin's been struggling a little bit, but I still think we got one more hurrah before we look at a Bitcoin, before we look at a crypto winter. So I'm definitely thinking right now is temporary more than anything. And that'll change. I mean, a lot of investors, you know, not so much you guys. You guys are smarter than the average investor. I think you are. But there's a lot of investors out there that they change their minds as quickly as the wind changes direction. So as soon as the winds start pumping Bitcoin up again, they'll be back. They'll be back. Jim says AMD, I think, going to be good over the next year. I would agree. AMD has been having a great time for sure. All right. Oh, and I do see something. I got to find it. Holy banana bread. How far behind am I? We got our first super in. So as you guys know, I think the Nightbot probably mentioned it. If we get 4 of these throughout the show, or gifted subs, if you want to gift someone a sub, that counts. That'll give us a bonus show on Friday. But here we go. I nailed that bell. I sure did. And guys, that makes Scratch our our first goat of the show. So I am definitely liking that. Thank you very much, Scratch. All right, now, oh boy, now to find where I was at, because I was really far. You know what I should do? I should actually look at the timestamp when I do that. I was right here. We were right here on Jim and AMD. All right. A huge Emilio says, never ever buying crypto ETFs again. MSTE is crap. All right, but let's just back up a second on that. So MSTE, it's not technically a crypto ETF. I mean, Strategy holds a lot of Bitcoin on their sheet. So yeah, they kind of feel like a Bitcoin ETF, but they're really not. The problem with MSTE and that movement to the downside is because Michael Saylor is so focused on getting as much Bitcoin as possible. Some of the tactics he uses will dilute some of the shares of Strategy. So this ETF, of course, holding Strategy, that does impact it a little bit. It's one of these ones, and I'll say it. I don't hold them. I don't hold them because I don't mind having exposure to them, and I do. I have exposure to them in HHIS, for example. That's a little bit safer, but I can understand why you would feel pretty bad because, yeah, Strategy, especially MSTE, has not been doing well, not doing well at all. So yeah, I can understand that. And Cowboy, same idea. Hoping my HBTE, oh, sorry, different one. Hoping my HBTE isn't going to be the falling knife. I've been DCAing him, but still dropping. Understandable, understandable. Right now, I'm not worried. I have no fear at all about HBTE. So, you know, I got it actually, in a way, if it goes down, I will probably add to it. Right now, it's still well above my entry point. Mary is in the house. Guys, Mary is our official captain of the like button. So if you have not yet hit that button, now is the time. Turn that thumb blue, because right now I'm going to have some coffee. So you got nothing better to do. Oh, that rhymed. That's kind of cool. And there we go. Oh, so good. Roku from Stittsville says, Bank and HDiv, new 52-week high. Oh, gosh, yeah. Bank has been doing fantastic. And of course, guys, talking about 60 again. So this new 60 ETF that I did my last video on, it's basically like it's like Bank, but remove the life insurance part of Bank. So I think it'll do well. I think it will do well for sure. I don't normally get super excited about a new ETF. A couple in the previous couple of previous ones, like I really like HHIC, and now 60. I'm more excited about 60 I'm more excited for 60 than I was for Biggie and Canny as well. So I am liking it. Rory says, watching MSTE fall to a penny stock is hilarious. Well, a penny ETF. Oh, I hope it doesn't quite get that bad. But yeah. It's funny, I suppose, if you don't hold any. But you know, for poor Hughie Mello, yeah, it's not a laughing matter, that's for sure. Jim says, still waiting for her to pick the rug pull coin. Oh, is that how far behind? Oh, I'm really far behind. All right, guys, remember the QQQs and the question marks? Those are going to come in handy today, because quite literally right now I am 16 minutes behind in the comments. So I'm going to start jumping over ones. I'm going to start skipping, guys, to try to get caught up a little bit. But what can I say? Now, Paul did mention that Paul got out of Strategy on September 24th with a 4% loss, and it's kept dropping ever since. Yeah, I don't even like to see a 4% loss, but yeah, understandable. Cowboy saying that both MSTY and MSTE are going to need a parachute soon. maybe. Oh, Nabox is part of the. Is it really, Jim? Are you sure? I don't know. I have no clue. But I'm like, why not? I mean, nothing the Kardashians do makes me surprises me. That's for sure. Let's see. Weird overnight crypto goes up, then market opens and crypto dumps. Eek. Yeah. And that might have something to do with the fact that a lot of the ETFs are all locked in because they're not trading at night. So that might have some part of that role, but yeah. Rory says, I wish I had Pelosi luck, 17,000% ROI. That'd be nice. Danielle says, QQQ, what do you think of LIF? So Labrador Iron Ore. I am a huge fan of royalty. I love royalty stocks, and Labrador Iron Ore is definitely one. So this is one that can have some really, like when iron ore is doing well, this one has crazy dividends sometimes. And I've had a couple times where the dividend was just absolutely bonkers, and I've jumped in on some of that. But I like Labrador Iron Ore overall. I don't even know what they're doing right now. Let's take a look. Let's jump back on in. We'll head on over here. We're going to pull up Labrador. Here we go. Perfect. Look at this. Up 0.42% today. I'm going to pull up that 1 year on here. So let's take a little gander here. Yeah, mostly sideways. But right now, what are they looking at dividend-wise? 5.538%. I've seen it much bigger than that. Now, you'll notice here, 40 cents. Well, there was back during the pandemic, they had this one spike where they had their dividend went up to like $2 or something crazy like that. Well, heck, let's take a look and see what it is, because I thought it was $2, but maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but we'll find out. We're going to find out. Let's go back in here. Well, look here. You can see here. Here's one of these big spikes back in 2024. But no, I kind of remembered. I thought I remembered $2, but let's take a look here. Well, there's 175. That might. Oh, here it is, right here. I knew it was $2. $2.10. That was their dividend that came out in October of 2021. So yeah, they have their dividend moves all over the place depending on the profits that they're making. But I do like them. Now, it is a quarterly dividend too, so keep that in mind. All right, and back to Big Me. Ian says, Jolly Cow EXE jumped. Oh, Jolly Cow. So yeah, EXE, Extendicare. I did not notice that they jumped today. Let's take a gander here. I'm holding, actually hold EXE in the 0 to 100K challenge. So, a Jolly Cow. That's like an ecstatic cow. Look at this. They jumped by 15%. You know what I smell, guys? I smell earnings. I smell earnings. Let's take a look here. EXE, Extendicare, bang. All right. That's what I'm smelling. I'm smelling earnings and ads, a lot of ads. All right, let's get down here. Where is my Extendicare? Guys, I just added Extendicare. All right, maybe I have my most, maybe I have my maximum. Let's just get rid of a couple here. Let's get rid of that. Buy Pizza. We'll leave you, Air Canada. Fubo and Amazon. All right, now let's try that again. The free version does limit the number you can put there. And I try to remember to delete them because I always do this on the show. Bring it up so that we can see. Here we go. Yeah, earnings right here. Let's take a look here. Holy banana bread. Look at this. These are fantastic earnings. They beat on their earnings by 42.64%. And on revenue, they beat by 5.54%. And I'll get the earnings thing out of the way, but look at this. Look at this big jump. This is nice. Oh, boy. I missed this one. I would have loved to have played this one. But I am very bullish on, well, anything that's providing service to senior citizens, because the boomers, they're retired. Well, most of them have retired. Right now, it's actually Gen X, the beginning of the Gen X wave. Some of them are starting to retire, but a lot of the boomers are getting later into retirement, which means long care time. It's time for the home. Not all of them, but for some, and that is really good for companies like Extendicare, also Sienna Senior Living. There's another one as well. So yeah, I can understand this, and I think these are areas that if you're looking for long-term investment right now, don't ignore things like this. Things like EXE. I think this will be a stock that right now it's what, 1568. I bet you that in 5 to 10 years, this thing's going to be north of probably north of $75. It's going to do fantastic, and it's. I mean, just look at it. Look at it. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. And even now, this is delayed, guys, but this here isn't. So look at this. 1844 is where it's actually at. Oh, no, never mind. It's got it in here. It's got the 1844. And we're already past the delay anyway. But yeah, this is fantastic. 1844. There we go. Yeah, that was the 15.68%, not the price. So 1844 is the price. But yeah, I can still say, all right, $76 then. we'll leave it at that. All right, let's zip back and attempt to get caught up. JJ is in the house. Hello, JJ. Hope you're having a good day. Pelosi, Queen of the Inside. SB says, we should be provided a list of all Canadian companies to support our country development. We have the next list of companies that are going to get fast-tracked in that infrastructure thing. That's supposed to be announced tomorrow. I'm looking forward to hearing this. I'm really skeptical that we're going to see any kind of a pipeline on it. Very skeptical, but I'll wait till I hear the list tomorrow for sure. All right. Jay says, I heard in the business news, Telus might have a problem paying dividends in the future. Is debt catching up to them? Telus does have a lot of debt. I mean, all of the telecoms have a lot of debt. So will they have problems paying dividends? It really depends. You got to look at it. If things stay the way they are now, then yeah, perhaps. But as we're finished with all of that deployment of the 5G and the rural's pretty much done, that will free up a lot more cash flow. And I think that will be fine for their dividends. So are they going to have a problem in the future? I can't say no. I can't say never. I mean, look what happened to Bell. But right now, I think they're fine for the time being. That is subject to change, though. And Lord Fubar says, we try to buy Canadian. Absolutely. Rory, Bloomberg did a story on Telus' dividend, not sustainable. Yeah, with current conditions, 100% not sustainable. But I think things are going to improve for the telecoms. Will it be enough? That's the big question, right? All right, let's see here. I'm still making an attempt to buy Canadian at every chance I get. SB says, I wish the comeback of the BlackBerry smartphone. It'll be one of the first clients. That you're not going to see. BlackBerry has, and BlackBerry is going to be very relevant in the future. Very, very relevant. Like, I'm very bullish on BlackBerry, but they're not going to come back with a phone. They've turned to a couple of things, cybersecurity, especially in the quantum area, and Internet of Things. So IoT, those are the things that BlackBerry now does. And they're carving a good niche in there. And I could see them being big in the future again. They'll get big again, but it won't be for phones. All right. Jim says, we buy Canadian. Silver is back on track to make new highs. I like that. Lisa is in the house. Well, hi, everyone. All right. Just JJ saying hi to everybody. Danielle, suggestion for a future video, portfolio for early retirement when you are in your 50s. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably hit it eventually. I quite literally usually do what you guys ask for the most part. Curious QQ says, hello, Candace and everyone. With all the gold hype lately, I'm thinking this year's Christmas tree should have a gold and silver theme. Ah, I like it. That's a good theme. Absolutely. Rory, what ETFs to pick up in your 50s for growth and income? Good idea. Vic is in the house with a hi. You're welcome to use it. Ah, yes, your little catchphrase. I got it. 60 has a catchy, or I think it's catchy, a catchy name to it to get in. It's funny, when I was making the 60 video, there were so many jokes I just didn't want to make. I wanted to make them, but I was like, no, I can't. Actually, the thumbnail was almost, I almost went with 260 for your portfolio. But I was just like, you know, I find that funny, but would everybody else? But it was almost that, 260 for your portfolio. Lord Fupar, I am not purchasing anything until December. Fair enough. Rory says, I stopped all buying at the end of October. And let's see. Jim says, I'm super pumped for 60, and I just checked for a new press release on it. There's not one there yet. Yeah, I was looking. Actually, yesterday when I was answering questions on it, I kept on refreshing, going over to see if I have any more information. You know, I don't all get the information out of the CEO of Evolve next week when I'm talking to him, but I'll try. I'll make the attempt. All right. Whoops. There we go. I'm 19 minutes behind. Oh my God. Debating on Telus, thinking it's likely to be lower in December with tax harvest days. Maybe. Your clock is behind a minute. Not necessarily. It's not that it's behind. It's that there is a delay. There's a delay from when I film. It's not fully a minute. I think it's roughly 20, 25 seconds. And I think that's just so that with the algorithm, like if you were to go into the chat, let's say, and say something absolutely horrific, I'm not going to give an example because giving that example would probably get the video pulled down. But if you said something of that nature that could get a video pulled down, yeah, YouTube would either they would just delete your comment right away, or they could actually pull the whole stream down. I actually saw that happen. Hi Rye, if you guys remember Hi Rye, back in the day, he was doing a live stream and somebody said something very naughty in the chat. I'm not going to tell you guys what. I mean, any of you who really want to know, you can message me. I'll tell you in the message, but I can't tell you on the air. But what was said, just this little tiny conversation that popped up in chat, was bad enough that YouTube pulled it down and actually gave him a suspension. It wasn't a long, I think it was like a 24-hour or something like that. But yeah, anyway. All right, let's see here. Jack sold his Telus at $23. Not bad. I was looking at Eggy. It's a US ETF from Nest Yield turns out to be one of the key people from Yield Max is involved, and I have my doubt is it's not hitting their own targets, yet they have lots of leeway. Yeah, and I'll tell you, like I told you guys as well, I told you guys that the video coming out this Friday is income ETFs, US ones. I'll tell you who did not make the list. None of the Yield Max made the list because you guys know how I have this rule when it comes to ETFs. If we're in a bull market and a covered call ETF is not going up in value, there's a problem. It's not, to me, that's a problem. It's not going in my portfolio. I don't mind them fall. I don't mind it. You know, I don't mind the value falling in a bear market because, yeah, everything, the underlying asset is falling. But in a bull market, if its long-term is not going up, I've got some issues. I have some issues for sure. So in other words, all of the ETFs that are in this video, they all have positive growth over the last year. You know, and a lot of the Yield Max can't boast that, even though they may have some pretty big, you know, they may have some pretty big dividends, but a lot of them are, you know, they're not they're not keeping up with the asset. Let's just say that. And part of it might be that they're just paying out so much that they're shooting themselves in the foot that way. But it's just a rule I have. Vic says bag holding Telus. Eek. Let's see. An analyst has Telus as a sell with problems for the dividends. Well, maybe the dividend problem is going to happen. Now, I have not, like I said, the last time I deep dived Telus was probably maybe 4 or 5 months ago. So maybe things have gotten worse since then. But I'm still hopeful that they can get things going. Now, mind you, if things really do get bad with your cash flow, with your debt, as much as some investors hate to see a dividend cut, sometimes a dividend cut can make sense. Like when Bell went through and did all of those dividend cuts, I think that was great. I think that was fantastic for Bell. I think they needed that. So yeah, keep it coming. Lord Fubar, there are plenty of good companies that are beat down after tax loss harvesting. I want Topicus and or Constellation. Doorpat, let's see, bought MSTE today. Got just because my average is too high. Really not liking MSTE. Feels like catching a falling knife. Yeah. I know how it feels. Like I do think with MSTE, I think long term, they're probably going to be fine. But you're going to white knuckle it for a while. I think you'll white knuckle it right now for a while. So if those are those diamond hands, oh boy, they're going to look like diamonds. They'll be white. All right, let's see here. Tim says Coinbase moving their headquarters to Texas. My coworker has CNYE. I just bought her a cowgirl hat off Amazon. Nice. And Tim says Tim has a large MSTE position, will never sell. Hopefully it doesn't reverse split. All right. Danielle says, and here's the QQQs. So guys, once again, I'm so far behind. I am going to be skipping here in a bit. So if you really, really need me to address your question, put a QQQ or a question mark at the front. That way there I can see them easily and I won't skip over those ones. Danielle says, do you think XSP is as good as VFV? I am with RBC and have to pay $9.95 whenever I buy stocks, but RBC has no commission on some iShares ETF, and XSP is one of them. Was thinking of buying XSP. All right, well, let's answer this question for you by looking. Let's take a gander here. Let's pull it up. There we go. All right, XSP, we'll go with this first. The good old iShares S&P 500 one. All right, and I'm going to pull it out here. So here we go. This here is this. Now, watch. This to me, this is kind of one of these things. I really like doing this. I'm going to duplicate this tab. And let's pull up VFV. All right, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the 3-year. Here we go. So look at this. Look at this. There's not that much of a difference. Now, VFV during, they didn't quite go down as far during Liberation Day. But overall, they're pretty much tracking the same way. So if you're getting XSP without commission and you have to pay a commission on VFV, it's a no-brainer. XSP, no-brainer. All right, now let's head back to Big Me. Lord Fubar, the underline is going down, so the ETF goes down. Exactly. All right, where's the bottom? A good T-shirt for investors akin to Wear the Beef commercial. You know what? It's funny. I'm actually thinking about making some new merch. That could be a good one. Where's the bottom? I like it. That's a good idea. Of course, it would be copyright if I took the old lady from the Wendy's commercial and had her going, where's the bottom? But it is pretty funny. All right. We don't have a date yet. I will be talking with the CEO of Evolve on next Thursday. So a week from tomorrow. I'm going to be actually interviewing him, and that video will. I don't know if I can have that out by Friday, because I don't know what if there's any legal stuff that has to happen before I can release it. Like, they may want to look at it. We'll see. We'll see how it happens. But right now, yeah, very, very soon, 33% leverage. Yes, that is what we're looking at. Brian, why would removing the insurance part of bank make 6E better? It's not so much that it makes it better. It's just, well, yes and no. So the design of the banks, and I kind of hit on this in the video. So we adopted the Scottish system by having, by going that route. It's made our banks incredibly stable. Now, our insurance companies are not, well, they're regular companies. They're not as stable. They're not as resilient as the banks. So in bad times, I think 6E will probably do a little bit better than bank, because bank could be pulled down a little bit by the insurance side. So, I like bank. Let's be clear. I do like bank a lot. I just think 6E is kind of that, it's that kind of that concentrated bank aspect. And also, you're getting paid twice a month. So if you're reinvesting them, there's two opportunities. So, yeah, I wouldn't say that, if you're holding bank and you're happy with bank, you don't have to grab 6E at all. I mean, there's nothing to say you have to have both. I think and I do like our insurance companies, but if we had, here's a good example. Let's say we just had a really bad year, like a lot more wildfires than normal, which is almost sounds like now anyway. A couple of hurricanes hitting the East Coast, earthquake in Vancouver. We're painting a pretty bad year, but a year like that could absolutely impact the insurance companies big time, and that would impact, of course, bank. It would pull it down a little bit. 6E would be immune to that. Well, for the most part. I mean, obviously, the banking system will have some impact if chaos hit at the scale I was kind of just painting. But yeah, so it's more streamlined. And that's the thing. It's kind of like if you're like saying, well, no, I'd rather have bank because it is a little more diversified. I get it. I do love bank. Blocks has a 0.86 weighting in strategy. Okay. Big 50 just coming on now. Darn work always gets in the way. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing fantastic. All right. And guys, as I said, I am jumping over a few things. We got a QQQ. Did you look at EXE today? Yes, we did. Of course, because I'm 20 minutes behind. It was after this question. Let's see. If strategy joins the S&P 500 in December, it will be a huge boost to share price. Okay, fair enough. And like I said long term, I think strategy is going to be fine. I understand what Michael Saylor is doing, but it is kind of rough if you're a shareholder at the moment. But yeah, it will be fine on the long term. Nadox is from Star Trek. Really? Okay. I'm trying to remember. I watched Deep Space Nine. I don't remember anybody named Nadox, but there was a lot of extra side characters, so maybe. All right. And Paul saying maybe now is the time to jump in with that 70% yield. Big jump on Air Canada. Darn it, waiting for 1750. Yes. So Air Canada actually having a pretty good day today. Let's pull this up. All right. Air Canada. Here we go. So they're right now currently, as you know, I buy when they're under 19, and they've just broke above $19.03. So the swing trade I have going on. So in the challenge, the swing trade, $21 is our target. So we still got $2 to go. But now I did already buy some Air Canada this month, but if I hadn't, then I wouldn't be able to because it's 3 cents above 19. So maybe if it stays above 19, maybe December, I won't be buying any Air Canada. All right. Let's see. No way, 70%. All right. We got another one here. And bring back up Big Me. Candace, did you get the annual corp letter from Canoe on selling your shares for cash? I'm holding on to mine. I didn't get it yet. It might be in the mailbox right now as we speak. But they do this every year. It's like a voluntary cash redemption. So the reason they do it is that, well, by buying back shares, it helps inflate the price a little bit of for those people who didn't sell it. In my opinion, never do this. Never do this because it's a bad idea. Because for the most part, with Canoe, almost every year I can think of, you would have been better off not doing it. As simple as that. You just would have been better off. So yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Keep your Canoe. Keep your Canoe. Don't sell it to them. Lord Fubar, how about champagne iron? Interesting. Interesting. I don't know about champagne iron. Let's take a look. Let's pull this up. I honestly don't think I've actually heard of champagne iron. Is it on Lake Champlain? or no, it's Champion Iron Limited. Okay, here we go. CIA. Interesting. Let's see here. Champion Iron Limited shares. Let's pull this up. Let's take a gander here. Yeah, so they've been heading down. So yeah, their stability is not quite as good as my royalty company. But keep in mind, royalty companies don't have a lot of overhead, so that does tend to help let them outperform a little bit. Yeah, this thing doesn't have a dividend. It doesn't look like. Let's just take a quick gander at the back end here. Key data. These are one of these things I always like to see. So return on equity, 8.25%. I'd like to see that a little higher. Oh, it looks like they did have a dividend of 10 cents, but for whatever reason, I don't know, they must have pulled the dividend, or they just didn't declare one this time around. So that's interesting. I don't know what kind of problems are going on. They do have a good amount. They got 71% debt to equity ratio. I'm not excited. I'm not excited on this one, Lord Fubar. There's nothing that, at least on the preliminary, that excites me. Cowboy, a wrinkle ranch. There's some old folks that have limited wrinkles, maybe. All right. Oh, is that in your hometown? Are you going out? Easy. I'm a boomer. All right, fair enough. Hey, I got nothing wrong with boomers. My mom's a boomer. All right. Let's see. The leak list has nothing for Alberta. Can see a referendum in early 2026. Yeah, the leak list is disappointing, but keep in mind, if it's a leaked list, it doesn't mean it's complete. Nonetheless, I am concerned. I really wanted to see. I really wanted to see a pipeline in there. So we'll have to see. We'll see what this list is, and let's hear what he's going to say for sure. All right, QQQ, what are your thoughts on Barrick Mining? I like Barrick Mining. And actually, let's pull up Barrick. There we go. Barrick Mining right here. And look at this. So they also had a great day because, as you guys know, we were talking about London Gold. Barrick Mining also, look at them, up 4.265%. So not too shabby. And I mean, this speaks volumes. This is the last year. With the price of gold going up, mining companies have been doing fantastic. Barrick Gold, one of the best in Canada. I like London a little more, but I really do like Barrick Gold. I think they're fantastic for sure. Pathfinder. Let's see. Wish I would have bought the MMY.V on Friday. I mentioned it this weekend. What are your thoughts on it at these levels? MMY. Let's take a look. All right, here once again, MMY. So momentum mining once again. All right. So, whoa, I just dropped into the venture 50, whatever reason that is. All right, MMY. Let's try this again. So, all right, here we go. So once again, this is the penny stock. So, and we've talked about it a little bit. And as I mentioned before, the fact that it's in mining, yeah, that's kind of exciting. And if we look at it, let's go over the last year. Even though it's a penny stock, it's doing the same thing as, look at that. That looks a lot like Barrick Mining as well. So it's doing the same thing. That's good to see. Is MMY going to be the next big mining company? Hard to say, but as long as gold keeps pumping, this one is probably going to be fine. I'm a little leery of penny stocks only because if things do turn around, penny stocks often don't have, like the smaller companies may not have that resilience or the moat to survive it. You never know too. This is a company that maybe down the road might even be ripe for a takeover. So just something to keep in mind. All right. All right, let's see here. All right, I'm skipping over a few things. All right, here we go. Jan says, is it okay to keep some emergency funds in a cash ETF to have on hand to buy in quick dips on ETFs? I'm thinking it might be a better use of some savings. Maybe put the dividends into savings. Yeah, there's different options. So I was for the longest time. Now, here's the thing. Let me pull this up here. So I was using Tcash. I still got money in Tcash right now. But I was using Tcash as my, as my thing. As you can sort of see, it's pretty reliable. You're parking your money into it. Now, the dividend right now, it's still sitting at 3.266%. But I want to show you something here. Let's just go into key data. And right now, it's doing good, but every so often, they don't give you they don't always give you, like at one point they did drop down to 0.086. Right now they're sitting at 13, at least on the November payment. But nonetheless, getting a little bit of money is better than nothing. There's other options too. If you're using Wealthsimple, for example, they're checking. I think they're calling it checking now. That used to be the savings, but they give you a bit. Now, mind you, every time the rates come down, those rates come down a little bit too. So yeah, it's fine using something like that. Like if you're sitting on some money that's waiting to buy stuff, the beautiful thing is if you got this in your TFSA and you got your cash sitting there already, well, what options do you have inside of your TFSA other than, well, some brokers will allow you to purchase GICs inside of your TFSA, but that's, those can be locked in for longer lengths of time. So if you want something quick and agile, something like a Tcash or a cash, or I think PSA is another one as well. All right. Mark says, hey, Candace, are Yield Max ETFs US listed? They are. Absolutely. Oh, there we go. All right. Cowboy, we got a QQQ. Put Estee in my non-registered with it being Canadian ETF. Will it be a tax friendly? Estee. I thought for some reason I was thinking there was a C day, but anyway. Yeah, if you put now I gotta look. I'm pretty sure that Estee is the US one here. Capital Partners. Let's just see here. Estee, and I think there's a C. I thought there was a C day. Yeah. Yeah, the C day one. I think the C day one is the one that's going to have your Canadian Equity Day Max. So Estee is the US one. So if you put that in your non-registered, you're going to have a lot of tax efficiency in it. So for example, you'll have some ROC in there. So that's just going to lower the adjusted cost base. You'll have some capital gains in there. Basically, when you sell it, you'll pay 50% on that portion of the dividend. There might be a little bit of foreign income in there, which would be 100% taxable. But for the most part, your big components are going to be capital gains and return of capital. With C-Day, it's the same thing. You're going to have capital gains. You're going to have return of capital, but the dividend portion that is from dividends would be mostly Canadian eligible. So you get a bit of a break on those for sure. All right. Isaiah, what's up with HBTE falling so much lately? The underlying assets are falling, so it's coming down with them. So we've seen a retraction in Bitcoin. Bitcoin at one point made it all the way back down to 100,000. Some of the volatility that we're seeing in Bitcoin recently, it's starting to hit the miners. So these are the other companies that HBTE holds. That's why we're seeing a lot of volatility. But keep in mind, volatility is why it can pay that the high dividend, the high yield. It's all, it's that dividend. So to me, that's fantastic. I don't mind. I don't mind the volatility at all. And these are companies that are going to be fine. Bitcoin's going to be fine. All right, and we already answered that one, Mark. So we're jumping to the next one. A Pathfinder. Are you familiar with WSP? Do you believe it's a good buy at the moment? I'm not. I've heard of it. I've heard of it, and I'll just pull it up here. WSP Global. I don't know a ton about it. They're not one of the companies that are really on my radar. But here we go. They have not really a big dividend, 0.59%. Let's pull up. Let me take a gander here. I'm going to pull up their 1 year. So yeah, they've had some movement to the upside. They've had a little bit of a retracement here recently, but that's fine. Let's pull up the 3 year. When you look on the 3 year, you can get a bit more perspective that this really isn't a big deal, the pullback that we've seen so far. So I do like that. I do like the movement that I see there. Of course, I always like to go into that key data and take a look here. They don't have a ton of debt, 57% debt to equity. Their return on equity, 10.29, a little bit lower than I like to see, but it's not bad. It's not bad. So yeah, I mean, I think this is probably, this is a fine company. There's nothing I can see. No alarms. There's no alarms at all for sure. All right. And I'm trying to get caught up. So guys, I might skip a couple of your messages. Don't take offense. These are the ones I'm not skipping, are these QQQs. Don't ETFs need a minimum of 10 holdings? No, they don't. So, I mean, look at the Harvest, all of the Harvest single shares. Those all have 1 holdings. So no, you don't need. Look at look at the new 60. That's only going to have 6 holdings. So no, there's no rule that you have to have a minimum of 10 holdings. Brian says, I'll keep my 200 shares of bank and not add to it. I will add 60 when it comes out for sure. Cowboy, they said Fort Mac fires nearly collapsed impact insurance. Yeah. And that's one of the downsides to the insurance company, is that when bad things happen, it can impact it. If a lot of people have to take out insurance, that's coming out of their cash flow. I mean, it's coming, it will impact things for sure. Any idea when 60 will start trading? No, but I am anticipating it before the end of the year, hopefully before the end of the month. Next Thursday, I will be talking to the CEO of Evolve. I'll ask him because I want to know. Emrit, what's your thoughts on EQ Bank? It's dropping pretty badly. I don't know why. All right, let's go over to EQ Bank. Yeah, EQ Bank. I'm going to pull up that one year. It's been on a downward. Like you can even see here. Lower. Well, technically no. Technically, this is a higher high, but we've got at least a couple of lower. We got a couple of lower highs. Yeah, there's definitely been a little bit of a downswing here on EQ Bank, and I'd have to dig in deeper to find out what's going on there. I don't know what's going on, why they're falling so badly. But let's pull up the key data here and take a gander. Yeah, they haven't taken on a lot of extra debt. They're still at a 42% debt to equity, and their return on equity is 13.58%. Return on assets really pretty low, but keep in mind banks have low return on assets anyway. So yeah, there's nothing in here that's alarming per se. And I like EQ Bank, and I think they're still moving in the right direction. So there's nothing I know of that is alarming. So, I think long-term, I think EQ Bank will be fine. Of course, and many people bring this up, that they're ripe for a takeover. That's a possibility down the road. That is definitely a possibility down the road. So it could happen. Now, I hope if someone takes over EQ Bank, let's say National Bank did it. It won't be National Bank, but let's just say for argument's sake, hopefully they keep them intact as a commission-free banking option. So that way it's still EQ Bank, but owned by a National Bank or TD Bank or whoever, sort of like PC Financial, which is now, I guess, they're now, what are they called now? Simply. They're technically owned by CIBC. So, kind of an interesting thing for sure. All right. And jumping ahead to our QQQs. For 60, if no life insurance and banks being stable, part of this ETF is covered calls. So will they have enough volatility to get those premiums? Um, that's a good question. That is a good question. Now, there is volatility in the banks, and they will certainly milk that. But one of the other key components, too, is that the covered calls are going to be very scalable. So, for example, if we have a strong bull market happening, like right now, they're going to use a lot less covered calls than normal. So what you're going to see is they're going to try to scale back the covered calls when there's a lot of upside. So that way there you're getting all of that upside coming in. So you're going to look at 60 as one of these ones where you're going to get a lot of growth in it as well. And then as the market, so when banks start to get more volatile, when the market starts to get a little worse, they're probably going to raise well, not probably, they're going to raise up the amount of that portfolio they're writing covered calls on. So it's a good strategy. It's a good strategy. They did that with bank at one point during one big one big bull run. They pulled back on their covered calls just because there was a whole bunch of upside. And they were like, if we write covered calls right now, we're just going to lose out a lot of money on this upside. So they pulled back the amount they were writing. All right. Isaiah, what are your thoughts on HBTE's price, drop in price lately? All right. Let's pull it up, HBTE. So we can actually look at it opposed to, all right. I think this is the right one. I hate it when they list a whole bunch of them. All right, so let's pull this up. Let's take a look. So this has been the iconic movement here. The beautiful thing is I opened my position in the challenge down in here. So I'm still in really good shape. But yeah, we've had a little bit of a retracement lately. I'm not super concerned about it. Like there's nothing here, like there's no alarm bells going off for me. When you move up like this, sometimes you do get a correction, and I don't think they're going to fall that much further. I think the worst case scenario is 1856. Somewhere's, well, yeah, between high 17s to 18s. Somewhere's in this area, there's a lot of support. I don't see them falling below that. And part of me is kind of like, I don't even think they're going to get there. Because right now, they're kind of in this area where there's also a lot of support too. So I would be surprised if this turns around. So I'm not super concerned, guys. I'm not super concerned at all. All right, and we got the night bot. So guys, if you want a Friday show, we already have one super. So we're one towards it. 3 more supers or 3 gifted or whatever. That will open up a Friday show for you guys. Cowboy. WSP is the Walmart of the engineering companies. In my opinion, $258 a share. 375 dividend, not a good buy. Okay, fair enough. All right, Mark says, maybe a good time to buy more MSTE. Scary stuff. I already hold 1,600 shares, bought at 1634, but price is delectable. It's a good price. It is a good price. I think you have, I will say this right now. I think you're going to have time to decide if you want to do that, because I don't see it rebounding really fast. Like I said, I think probably I would say the next 6 months, if not longer. If we go into a crypto winter, even longer, there could be a little bit of white knuckles holding on to this for sure. All right, now let's take a look here. Wasn't ZMMK the best ETF for cash? I don't know. Let's take a look. ZMMK, here we go. So here we go. Oh, the BMO Money Market Fund. All right, and here we go. And this is going to be the similar thing. Let's pull it up. This is interesting. Normally these are straight. That's pretty straight, but that's fine. Let's see here. What are they doing? See, they're doing even a smaller distribution right now. So maybe they were the best, but right now, just looking at that, I think I'm making more on Tcash than I am on, and Tcash is the TD version of this. All right. Jan says, thanks. Tcash 326 is better than the others I looked at and better than the savings account. Good to know. I want some in and get extra and get some 6C. I'm big on the banks and getting paid twice to jump on dips. Yeah, fair enough. All right. Let's see here. Oh, here's a good point. Andrew was saying EQ Bank has fallen since Andrew Moore passed. I think, yeah. I think that's been one of those. I don't know if that's the catalyst or not, but it is interesting. It is interesting. I can't say if it is, but it's interesting. Ian, QQQ, how does 6C affect bank? Will 6C steal some thunder from bank? I'm hoping for a dividend increase on bank. That's a good question. You know, will bank holders abandon bank for 6C? It's hard to say. I think some will. Yeah, for sure. But at the same time, I mean, bank's doing so well. A lot of people may not want to leave that stability because when you look at bank, and let's actually take a gander here. All right, here we go. Up 1.43% today, guys. But look at this. I mean, you know, this is when the banks were sliding. So we were still at the sliding part. But yeah, when the banks turned around, bank went with them. So this has been a pretty good trip. This has been a pretty good second half of the year for bank. All right. Let me see. So isn't Simply owned by Weston Family Loblaws? That's a really good question. I know that PC Financial was bought by CIBC. Then they changed to Simply. So maybe they were sold. Well, you know what? Let's find out because now I'm curious. I could be wrong and I want to know. All right. Let's just put in who owns Simply Financial. There we go. No, CIBC. There we go. I was right. But I was willing to entertain that I was wrong, if that makes any sense. But no, I was right. All right. Oh, boy. All right. All right. Now, I am jumping. Remember, guys, we're so far behind. I am jumping over a lot of things. I'm jumping over a lot of things, and I'm sorry. I hate jumping over questions. But I don't jump over the QQQs. Thanks, Candace, for clarifying. I'm thinking then 6C may have lower div yield compared to bank, but getting in on the 6C right now might give a nice jump. And it's interesting. I'm actually thinking that the dividend is going to be close to banks, maybe a slightly bit higher, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, logically, yeah. I mean, it could come in a little bit under, but we'll have to see. We'll see how. Like I said, I can't wait to have that data to look at. Paul, QQQ, that question about minute 10 holdings in an ETF is more for the USA. In the US, an ETF cannot have a holdings more than 25%. That is why US ones do synthetic holdings of stock. Yeah, absolutely. No, the rules are different between Canada and the US for sure. And what Paul said is absolutely correct. QQQ, if you follow EQ Bank, look at the transaction for insiders from Stephen Smith and then look at what else he owns. Okay, fair enough. I will look at that. I'll look at that a little bit later. I won't do it right now on the stream, but we'll look at it a little bit. I'll look at it a little bit later. All right. Oh my God. I'm actually caught up. I didn't realize I was so close to the end. All right, Isaiah says, I will trade my Telus for 6E when it comes out. All right, fair enough. Oh, and I get 2 points. I also get some coffee. I get some coffee for that. Oh, so good. You missed my question about MSTE/MSTR. I might have. When it gets busy, I have to skip over questions. I can't read everything. I skip to the QQQs. So if you have a question that you really want answered when it's busy, throw a QQQ in front of it. Or if you don't like the Qs, you can also put a question mark. That way there I won't skip over it. I hate skipping over questions. But It has slowed down now. Why don't you resubmit your question? Throw the QQQ in front of it, just in case all of a sudden 100 questions don't just drop in on you. All right. Brian says, I thought 6E was going to use 30% leverage as well. So that will help a lot. Yes, they are looking at 33%. So their whole goal for 6E is basically they're trying to track the Selective Canadian Bank ETF or index. And they're hoping to beat it. So they want to beat that index by 1.33% using that leverage. So yeah, there is more leverage with 6E than bank. So that's one of the reasons that we might see a slightly larger dividend. All right. Sashin says, can Algoma Steel survive with permanent USA tariffs? Whew, that's a great question. Now, right now, obviously, the government's been talking about providing a little bit of support to some of the steel companies and also trying to promote internal steel. And that's great. That's certainly great for these companies. But permanent tariffs, I don't think, I mean, so much steel in the past was sold to the United States. So it will be tough unless we can find steel buyers, well, outside of the U.S. If we can open up new steel markets, that could certainly help. And I would love to see that happen because we want to diversify away from the United States. But as it is right now, I think it would be a tough road for Algoma Steel if we had permanent USA tariffs. Now, keep in mind, well, in 3 years, 3 years and a couple months, we will probably no longer have all these tariffs. They'll probably disappear, as in a new administration. Pathfinder QQQ. What's the financial difference between taking out 6% a year from WSP straight line to the top right, going up 200% every 5 year compared to a 6% dividend from a stock that has risen 400 in 200 years, in 20 years? Okay. I'm going to answer this generally. So, and this is kind of one of these things. So there's two ways you can get income from stocks or ETFs. You can, obviously, if you have dividends, kind of like what income investors do, they that's their income. That comes out. Now you can pull that same income out, but by selling the stock. So the difference really is, and sometimes in a bull market, it might even be more advantageous to be doing it just selling a little bit of the stock, right? Because you're getting a bigger total return in that bull market. But the problem comes down to when you're in a bear market. So if that asset is down and you need income out of it, if you pull from it, you're being forced to realize losses. That is what really hurts. And that's one of the reasons why income investing, especially in retirement, is so popular, because at least you're still getting your income from the dividends in that bear market or in those down markets. And you're not being forced to realize a whole bunch of losses. Whereas, the other way, yeah, you may be forced to take some losses. And that never feels good. That's for sure. And here, there we go. Oh, good. You got your question in. What are your thoughts on MSTE and MSTR? Also love your insight assessment. You are fantastic. Well, thank you. So yeah, we did cover both of this. We've been talking a lot about this throughout the show, and you kind of missed a lot of it. But in a nutshell, so MSTE is holding, well, MSTR, so strategy. So that's the reason that, because of the price of strategy, that's what's impacting MSTE. Now, with strategy, Michael Saylor has a grand game. So his goal is he will do whatever it takes to borrow money to buy more Bitcoin. And, he's looking at it as, a long-term gamble on Bitcoin. And it's not really a gamble. It has paid off for him over and over again. But one of the things that he will do to be able to, secure more funds is share dilution. So basically selling more shares. And there's a whole process. We're not going to get so much into that whole process. But that dilution does put downward pressure on strategy stocks. And when Bitcoin at the same time starts to struggle a little bit, yeah, that really impacts that price big time. So if you're an investor, it feels awful It feels like it feels like a falling knife. It feels like it's never going to stop. It will, but it's a rough ride. I don't think I don't think he's going to, change his strategy anytime soon. And no pun intended there. So I think it'll be a rough ride. I think long term, I think strategy will be fine on the long term, and that'll of course translate into MSTE. Provided of course Harvest doesn't lose, or provided it's still around, and I think it will be. But yeah, it's a rough one. It is a rough one. Personally, I opted to get my exposure to strategy through HHIS, because that way there I'm not. I'm just not having to, worry about that one. If strategy, or if Michael Saylor wants to sell a bunch of stocks, I'm fine with it, because I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. The rest of my portfolio is balancing it out, so I'm okay. Let's see. Brian says, as a steel fabricator, we get a lot of different sizes and types of steel, as it is now made in Canada. The U.S. bought some of our mills and moved production to the States years ago. Yeah, absolutely. QQQ, what are your thoughts on Utes? Decent dividend at 14 cents a share. I'm at 942 average. I know it's a covered call, but not a lot of growth with ETF, but utilities should be doing better. Any better alternative? There's other ones out there. There's like UMAX, for example. I think Utes has always been doing better than UMAX. I think I actually compared them in a video not that long ago. Obviously, there's a couple of different options here. So if you're looking for utilities and you're looking for income, Utes is kind of that thing. Now, keep in mind, most covered calls are not really designed for growth. They're designed for that income. And that's kind of where I see Utes as being. Because when you look at utilities, and let's take a look here for a second. Let's pull up. Let's go without covered calls, XUT. That is your iShares Capped Utilities Index. If we look at that over the last year, you can see it's going up, because utilities love, they love it when the rates come down, and the rates have come down, and we're seeing that in this chart. Now, if we look at Utes, and we'll come over to this one here, let's put in Utes. All right, here we go. And we'll pull up the 1 year. As you can see, it's, for the most part, it is mostly flat. It is designed for that income. That's what you're getting into Utes for. If you're looking for growth, you're not going to see a lot of it with Utes. You might get a little bit, but you're not going to see a lot of it, to be honest with you. If when it comes to covered calls, here's the problem. Utilities is very regulated. So because it is regulated, it has, it doesn't have great volatility. So, they're doing everything like they can to pull that dividend out for you. And that, it really, really limits. Like, they have very limited upside because of the type of cover calls that they have to write on it to be able to produce the income for you. All right. Larry is in the house. Well, hello, Larry. Let's see. Bayrai up 750 to 830, 20% earnings growth. I think it's worth 35 over 30% dividend. It reminds me of Berkshire purchasing American Express. Interesting. I don't know if I can actually see it on here. Let's just take a look. BAYRY. Here we go. Right over here. Yeah, look at this. You can see that little jump right there. I'm going to pull up the 1 year. Yeah, I can see that right there. So 837 from 760. Or you said 750. So yeah, right down about 750. Not bad. Not bad at all. Hopefully you had a play on that, Larry. Hopefully you had a play on that. Cowboy QQQ. Why is there no support for forestry with the softwood lumber tariffs at 45%? Closing mills. Cars and steel are more Ontario and Quebec. Sounds like vote buying to me. I'll agree with you. I don't know if it's vote buying, but yeah, there should be support for forestry. There's a lot of forestry in the East as well, especially the Maritimes. But yeah, and then of course a huge chunk of it, BC, for sure, a lot in BC. So yeah, I think there should be some support in there to help those guys out too. And 45%. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And I think Trump has hinted that it could even go up higher. So I don't like it. I don't like it at all. All right. And let's see here. I think I've already read this one, Brian. I think you did it twice. Larry, I don't like many European countries, but this one will be held indefinitely. It's crazy. Tesla shareholders love dilution, but MicroStrategy shareholders don't, and they're both cult stocks. Yeah, well, what can you say? What can you say? Let's see here. Let's see. Hamilton is cleaner now with natural gas use. All right. Mark says QQQ. Maybe sell MSTE before end of the year for tax loss harvesting, then buy it back February 1st, 2020. Well, yeah, you know what? That's not a bad strategy. No pun intended. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, if you do sell it at the end of the year, yeah, wait until February. That way there, you're not turning your capital loss into a into a nothing burger, because then it becomes, well, it actually turns it into something called a superficial loss if you buy it back right away. So waiting more than 30 days, yeah, that could, if you need it, that's not a bad strategy. Maybe if you get lucky, a strategy will go down even more, so that when you buy it back, you can get a bit more. Amrit, what's your thoughts on Biggie? I have been slowly purchasing it. What's your thoughts on what price target to buy at? I'm assuming around $25. Let's pull up Biggie here. So Biggie, of course, it's your Evolve. So U.S. Equity Ultra Yield ETF. And let's just go 6 months. So they haven't been around that long. So yeah, I mean, they've been kind of moving around. I would say right now, not a bad place. I mean, the market has been volatile. That's really good for this ETF. They are paying out twice a month dividends. So I would say $25, not a bad place. Because I mean, if you look at it, this is kind of their level of support in here anyway. So yeah, but keep in mind too, we don't have a lot of history yet. But I do like Biggie. Biggie is sort of like Evolve's version of HHIS. I do like it. Now I do hold HHIS, so I haven't actually gotten into Biggie yet. But there's nothing wrong with it. That's for sure. Jay says, I hope they would diversify 60 with 6% utilities and healthcare like HHIS. Well, keep in mind, 60 has its own agenda, the banking sector agenda to it. Biggie, I don't know what Biggie has in total, but Biggie would have a lot more diversification if you're looking for diversification. Paul says, in 3 years, it could stay the same. VD VD Vance. There we go. JD Vance runs for president and Trump runs for vice president. They win. Then JD Vance says he doesn't want to be president. Then Trump steps up. As much as that theory is interesting, one of the things is that Donald Trump is getting old, guys. I hate to break it to you, but I don't think in 3 years he will have the mental capacity to run again. Even if they cleared it for him, I honestly don't think he. I don't think he would. Even if he was allowed, I don't think he would do it. I think at that point he'll kind of even. I think even himself will recognize. Yeah, he's getting old, guys. I'm just gonna leave it at that. EXE has a room for him if he wants to come to Canada. Oh boy. Reverend Ramirez has a weird question. Is it normal that the stock market all-time high seems to not care about the bad economy? No, it's not normal. I will say that. Normally the economy and the stock market, they normally move semi-correlated, but right now the stock market just does not seem to care at all about the economy. So no, it's not normal. And that's one of the reasons that at the beginning of this year, I made predictions for this year. And one of them was, of course, a recession based on what the economy is doing. And if that correlation had kind of did the way, it kind of moved with the economy, then we probably would have got that bear market. But right now, no, right now people don't seem to care. Investors just don't seem to care, and I honestly can't tell you if that's just going to flip all of a sudden. I don't think it is. I think it will flip in 2026, but I think the rest of this year we're probably fine. Other than we're going to see some of that loan loss. Tax loss harvesting should pull the market down towards the end of November and into the beginning of December. Mark says, every time you say Utes, I hear Utes. Like from the movie My Cousin Vinny. Oh boy. That takes me back to my Utes days. My Utesful day. There, yeah. Utes is 17.38% dividends, so it's not bad at all. No, it's not. It's not bad. I mean, you're getting a pretty good dividend. But they're probably doing the actual options that are being written they're not giving a room. They're not really writing it's pretty much on the money type thing. It's like no room. It's they're just selling them pretty quickly. They're losing their upside potential big time on it. So that's kind of the thing. The closer you put your strike price to the actual price, the easier it is to sell those contracts, and you can charge more. But because you're so close, that strike price is getting hit more often. So you lose even more of that upside potential. That's kind of the situation with Utes, is that they lose a lot of their upside, but you are getting that income. And that is what it's designed for. I just want to point that out there. Paul, Bitcoin is less volatile, so strategy becomes less volatile. So MSTE has less covered call premium income. Yeah, and they've already had one cut already. So what can I say? A says, thank you for your insight. I am in for the long term with MSTE. Holy banana bread. And Rory fell asleep again. Ha. All right. Well, now that since the stream is putting you to sleep, Rory, if you got your last minute questions, get them on in. We're already at 1 hour, 32 minutes. These ones normally don't go that long. Right now, it's not looking like we're going to get a Friday stream because we've only got that one super in. But get in your last minute questions. And if you're really desperate for a Friday stream, you got a couple minutes to try to make it happen. But right now, it's looking like we may not see each other again till Sunday. Oh, so good. So coming up on the channel, of course, as I mentioned, this Friday we are going to look at some U.S. covered call. They're not all covered. 4 of the 5 have used covered calls. 1 of them doesn't. But U.S. income ETFs we'll be looking at. In addition to that, we will be back on Sunday for this week. That should be a lot of fun. Oh, and I keep forgetting, tomorrow night we're going to do an impromptu channel member live stream, because next week I got a live stream I got to do with Adriano and the Passive Income Pioneer crew next week. So next Thursday's kind of got thrown off the table. So we're going to do that tomorrow night, which also means, guys, on Saturday, I will release the one from a year ago. So every time I put out a new channel member live stream, I release the one a year ago for everybody else to check out if they want to. So that'll be kind of fun. And next week, oh boy, next week, as I said, we got the Pioneer thing. Also on, Tuesday. It's Tuesday that I'm doing this. Sorry, I was thinking Thursday. Thursday is that one. But on Tuesday coming up, I'll be interviewing the CEO from Evolve. Then I will get that turned into a video for you as soon as possible. I have to wait to see if there's any hoops I have to jump through before I do that, but we'll get that up right away. All right. Reverend Ramirez, I think LMN right now is a good buy. I believe CSU owns most of it, and its drawdown has not been as bad as TOI. Any thoughts on the 3 stocks joint at the hip? So yeah, you got Constellation Software, then you got their 2 spinouts. So of course, Topicus.com and Luminine, I think, or Lumen. I like what they're doing with this company. I think they're going to be fine. I think right now there's a lot of Well, the CEO of Constellation Software is stepping away, and that has it's caused a little bit of turmoil amongst investors. A lot of people are worried because he's kind of been the heart of the company, and there's also concerns about AI. They offer software that AI can potentially do. So people are like, well, maybe AI is just going to take all of their business away from them. That could be the end of them. I don't think so. I think what they need to do is you got to remember Constellation Software, and we'll also look at the other two as well, are kind of in the same boat. They acquire a lot of these little companies and a lot of different software applications. And what they can do is they can take these applications and they can apply AI to them to make them even better. And I think that will give them some staying power. And I think that will also help right the ship. But yeah, it is down. Now, if I was interested in Constellation Software, dollar cost averaging at this point is not a bad thing. Even if they go down a little bit lower, you're still, I think, long term, I think you're going to be in a good spot. What time will you be doing the CM Live stream tomorrow? 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern. That's when I do those. So, all right. Cowboy says wake up for 2:30. No, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Cowboy, our opinion on the Canadian tech stocks dropping, AI or correction? I'm going to say AI fear as well as a little bit of a correction. More, and it's not all. I mean, Shopify is still okay. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. So yeah, I would say kind of a combination. I think they're going to be fine though. Honestly, I think they're going to be fine. All right, and you're what? You're something. we'll leave it at that. All right, guys. So we did not get for this time around, so we don't have a show on Friday, but we'll be back here on Sunday. We'll do it all over again. Let me pull myself up a big screen before I go. All right, you guys, of course, are a great audience. I always love talking to you guys. And check out Friday. Check out the video on those US income stocks or income ETFs. They're fantastic, and I think it's a great video. Until next time, guys, take care and enjoy the rest of your day.